also join in light school. We have other programs, Jesus abiding everything, to wake unto our here now, always. So we have to have a dialogue with him, to hear him speak through our brother, and practice listening, hearing him speak voice, and follow the guidance. So it's a gift, and Mary was talking about the gifts of God and accepting those gifts. And so my experience with chapter 20 is I'm seeing all the gifts that are brought from my brother, and they're just doing this devotion to this direct looking with Jesus at the desires that are hidden below the level of awareness, and how it's a choice. So we look at that. We look at the desire for choice, to keep or hold on to the denial or the desire. So then we just look at that with Jesus, and we ask for miracles. To just clear out all the he was also sharing through my brothers this morning, my sisters, just the power and the simplicity of looking direct, and how our decision to say no to the ego, like, and also stepping out of our comfort zone, what we feel is familiar, our safety, which is not looking at the desires, and wanting to kind of go off and do our own thing, stay with this, and continually ask Jesus for the help and the assistance. So it's accepting his plan for the atonement, which is to see that how I'm experiencing is that I need him for everything. I need to ask him for everything, and he's here for me to ask him for everything. And the way that it shows up, there may be sometimes the desire to judge the way it shows up. And so this is this joining with our brother, desires together, white circles, joining one-on-one with our brother today. It's just a simple, direct, quick way to see what's true together, and just to celebrate what's true together.
With Jesus, a new covenant, Jesus is telling us that this is the fast track, this is the fast lane for awakening, for remembering who we are. This looking directly at the desires for something other than the truth of God. And so we're also starting joining in light groups, both on Zoom and then reaching out to course groups, where we look at desires deeply with Jesus, with our brothers, our sisters, the mighty companions, to look at the denials of divinity, because as the Course says, what's in the way are all the blocks to the awareness of our divinity, the awareness of love. And with this particular practice of joining with a mighty companion or a group of mighty companions, to look at the blocks. This morning we were looking at just not wanting God to have anything to do with our lives. Like if God, if you would just leave me alone, everything would be fine. Well, you could say, oh my gosh, who wants to say something like that? But when you start looking deeply into the ego and what's buried in the subconscious, what comes out are all these beliefs that actually run us. And until we look at them and admit them, they can't go away. And so, this desire to think that, well, maybe life would be okay if God would just leave me alone. What Jesus was showing us with that desire is that actually it's the concept we have of God, of being like Elf on the Shelf or Santa Claus that's counting up all our, good deeds and bad deeds. And is at the end of the day, the last judgment, whatever, we're going to be found wanting and we're not going to make it. And so we were just looking at these unconscious beliefs we have that stop us from opening up and totally opening our hearts to God. And so just this process of looking and saying, oh yeah, I do see that. I admit that I do have that desire. And Jesus, could you show me a different way of looking at this? And just giving our attention to that which seems dark and seems to block the way, and then being willing to say, okay, I'm open to seeing this another way. Just that whole process just begins to release all this suppressed energy that we have tied up. It's nothing but energy that's stored up in these beliefs and these desires. And so just by looking at them and asking to see it differently releases this. And then I've noticed here that there's just what I'm hearing is a lightness of being, just feeling lighter and lighter by looking at these desires to deny divinity and then letting them go to a miracle. Yeah.
So one thing we do is we invite the partners that are joining the chapter 20 to share their experience. And there's some questions that we look at that can help us when we're sharing our experiences during the week. And one of them is, did you find any of the desires you were looking at harder or easier? Did they seem harder or easier to release? And I see that how that comes into play when we're looking at desires with chapter 20, where sometimes the energy it feels like there's a holding on to it. It's like a wanting. And so we just look at the relishing. That's how we stay with the desire for it. So first we go directly to the desire and we ask Jesus, okay, what do I need to see? What's most helpful? And then we stay with the relishing of the desire if we're not ready to release it to a miracle right away. So then we stay with it. And sometimes that can seem like, oh, this is hard, or this is difficult, or and so it's just staying with it to see that it, like Mary's saying, it's a release of energy. It's a play in consciousness, and it's a holding or a releasing. So during the joinings, when we're looking at desires, we can ask that question as well. Is this holding or release? And then that helps with the trying to determine if something's harder or easier, and getting involved with the looking. Oh, and we have Hermione. Hello.
Hi there. Welcome.
Welcome, Susanna.
Can you hear us, Susanna?
If you want to speak, we can unmute you.
You're talking to me?
There we
Yes.
go. We're just saying hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Have you been joining with a chapter 20 partner?
Yes, I have been joining with Elizabeth.
Ah,
Yes,
beautiful.
but it's the first time that I entered in Zoom. I,
Ah,
I found a way to do it through Facebook,
yeah, welcome.
but today,
Yeah, we saw you this morning for the light circle.
yes, I find a way to do it.
Thank you for joining us. We've just been sharing our experience with joining with chapter 20, what
Mhm.
that's like. And did you feel did you feel to share anything from your joinings with your partner?
Well, really, we are having a hard time, more than the idyllic time, because we have like a lot of thoughts of guilt. It's like the mind after, during the session is okay and we stay fine, but afterwards when we are alone start coming, I don't know, it's like if we are getting mad.
Yeah, yeah. He's been Jesus has been encouraging us to join with our mighties in between our chapter 20 joinings, and also join for light circles is really helpful as well. Like you were doing this morning, it's just join, join, join. That's what his message is right now.
Hmm.
As the doubts come up um, during the day, and so we also have the miracle worksheet, which is really helpful. Have you? Um, are you aware of that? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen it, but as well, I find that it's a, I don't know, like because I try to do the lessons, I try to read the text many times because a part of the text each day many times because the first time is like I don't really listen it. After many times I listen it, it's start hearing it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
No, so I didn't have the time to look at in the worship or whatever. And I met with Elizabeth. I joined as well in the morning sometimes with Luz Esperanza and Maria Luisa. Uh, but especially uh, with Elizabeth, she, gee, that is me. Is having a hard time because it has a lot of guilty thoughts, a lot of, you know, uh, punishment thoughts. I don't know how to say it. Uh,
What I'm hearing, Susanna, is that you can start your chapter 20 joining with a partner with a desire to have thoughts that are attacking or punishing you. Start out with, I can see it wouldn't be happening unless I had a desire for it. So you could
mhm.
state it as a desire to have thoughts that are attacking me or punishing me or whatever is accurate
Yes, but in the mind,
in the mind.
no,
Oh, yes.
yes, it's not. No, I don't see any punishment outside.
Yes.
It's the self punishment.
Yes. So if
Like,
you look at, you could start with that desire since it's coming up and it's
mhm.
present and you brought it to us right away, then that looks like a really good desire to look at with your partner or with a group. Yeah.
right now, we can look at that now. Um, we can just pray. We can just ask Jesus.
Okay, I'm willing to if you want.
Yeah.
If you are willing, yes, of course.
Yes.
Because my head especially in the mornings, because I started giving to Jesus, giving to Jesus. It's like I have someone here that is crying, like getting mad all the time. It's like a like a puppet or whatever, but it's crying loudly. It's like shouting. It's like if want to get crazy. It's very angry.
Yes. So let's look at the desire to have a voice in our head that is very angry and wants to shout at us. The relishing of that desire. Let's look at just the relishing, not the experience of it, but just the wanting of that voice in our head to be shouting at us.
Yes, and all time there. So you say how we do it, because I don't know exactly.
So what we'll look at is just the wanting of that voice in our head to be shouting at us.
So we ask for the light.
We do.
Eh?
Yes, start with light. Yes, definitely start with light. So the light is here.
So you should guide me, whatever of the two.
So we're going to look at the desire with Jesus and the light and our partners at the desire to have a voice shouting in our head and making us wrong.
Crying as well.
So just look at the wanting of that voice to be shouting in our head and crying. I want that voice to be shouting in my head and crying. I really want that voice to be making a lot of noise.
I don't know, because my answer is no, but that should be a false answer, because if I have it, it's because I want it.
Yeah, so we'll just look at the wanting of it and just wait and see what Jesus shows us, because Spirit always comes through and shows us, oh yeah, the more I look and the deeper I go, the more I see that somehow I relish this, somehow I want this. And then we begin to laugh at the ridiculousness of wanting some voice shouting in our head, and then we can turn it over to Jesus for a miracle.
Okay, so I stay with the wanting. So I want it. I like it.
I relish it.
I relish it. Show me, Jesus.
Yes, show me, Jesus. Good. Let it bloom in my mind so that I can see that I really do want this, or it wouldn't be happening.
Blood in my mind, so I really can see that I am wanting it, and so this will be not happening.
Are you hearing anything?
No, I feel like vomiting.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Release. It's releasing. Or we can ask Jesus, is this releasing or is this holding on?
Yes, you can ask and hear better than me, perhaps.
We'll all hear it together.
I hear in this moment, Susanna, that it's releasing because you're willing in this moment to look at it and really say, is this true, Jesus?
This is true. What is true? That I want it. I feel heavy in my head as well, like a headache is coming.
There may be some yawning during the release. My experience has been that when the energy is coming up, when it's releasing, it's like a yawn. Sometimes, a lot of the times it comes out like that, yawning, like it like releases the tension of it, the desire that I'm looking at.
You mean the headache?
If I yawn, what I've found that it's like because I can feel the tension, and then when I'm just looking at it, sometimes it comes out as a yawn, just like a release of the energy. We can ask, sometimes we vacillate between holding and release. There's a vacillation where we kind of go back and forth. we want it, and so we just want to stay with the desire for the experience and not go into it.
No, I don't want the desire for the experience because it feels horrible. I want to release it.
Jesus, are we ready to see this differently, or is there more for us to see about the wanting of this desire?
Me viene a la cabeza algo que es un deseo como una ira de destruirlo todo. Me contengo porque si no me van a meter en un manicomio. Pero por, por, por precaución. Pero eso está ahí, es deseo de destruir todo, sí, a mí misma. el cuarto, todo, todo. Sí. Es como un enloquecimiento. Pero no está dirigido a las personas, está dirigido contra mí misma y contra las cosas.
Now, Susanna, we don't speak a lot of Spanish. Can you go ahead and speak it in English?
Ah, sorry, I forgot. It's not it's not directed to another brother or sister. It's directed towards me and things, the things, the quotidian things, you know, like it's like I don't. It's a desire to just to break everything.
Let's look at the desire, the relishing of the desire for that, the wanting of it. We want to break things. We want to shout at ourselves. Just look at the wanting of that. I want to break things. I want to shout at myself. I want to make myself wrong.
I want to make myself wrong. I never thought of that. I admit it. Jesus show me because I don't know. I don't have idea. This is such insane madness.
Just keep looking at the wanting of it, the relishing of it. And what value are you getting, Susanna, out of shouting at yourself in your mind and your thoughts? What value is there in that? I'm hearing that I get to be right, that my thoughts are more powerful than God.
Sorry?
Safety, it's like a way of being safe or feeling safe. Yeah, he's just reminding you it's not personal. It's not personal. It's
Part of the play in consciousness, the way the ego mind works.
Yes.
Want to be angry and break things.
Está loco.
Jesus, what more is there for us to see here about this desire to have this voice shouting in our heads and anger wanting to break things?
what I hear is what she mentioned in the beginning, to look more at the desire for punishment and the desire to attack myself, the desire to attack myself and for punishment, to punish myself through attacking myself with another voice.
And how I give it up.
We look at the relishing of it, the wanting of it, and we ask Jesus to show us that this is occurring because we asked for it. We want it.
Yeah.
At some level, it doesn't seem like it. And then we ask Jesus for help to show us the way out of it. Is there another way to look at this desire to attack ourselves, to want to punish ourselves, to be shouting in our head?
Not to be at peace because it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's all day long.
Yeah. So Jesus, are we willing to see this another way? Is there another way of looking at all this noise in our head?
I ask Jesus, is another way to look all this noise, this punishment, this shouting, these attacks, these heavy thoughts in my mind, how to get out of it. Forever.
Yes, all the way. We want him to take us all the way down.
What I'm hearing is that we have this belief that we're powerless against these thoughts.
Sí, lo admito. That I feel powerless with these thoughts. Lo admito. Y eso va acompañado con desaliento, con un montón de emociones así. It is together with the to be discouraged, desolation, a lot of emotions like that. Powerless.
As we start to see that this has so much power, and we look at it with Jesus, it starts to get lighter. We can see that this is suffering, and this is not what Jesus wants for us. He doesn't want us suffering, but we just keep doing it to ourselves.
Yes.
We feel like we have no choice.
Yes.
And what he's saying is, yes, you do have. You can say no. No, I'm not going to think these thoughts. No, I'm going to replace this thought with the thought of God. And like, God is in everything I see, or whatever it is we need to do to redirect our mind towards the focus on noise and anger and attack to a thought of God.
Yeah, he's been just like gently showing me with the discernment, with that the beauty of having this contrast between the desire for the experience and the light. So we can go to the light and we can look as the light, and then we can look at the desire, and we just kind of go back and forth between those two so that we can see that contrast between the desire for the punishment and the light that's here, that doesn't know anything about punishment. There's no punishment in the light.
I know.
We just let him take us gently and showing us that contrast between them.
You can help me with a miracle?
Yes. I say yes. Starting to feel complete, actually.
Sorry?
It's starting to feel complete with this looking.
What are you hearing from Jesus right now?
I don't hear anything now.
How do you feel?
But I feel better.
Yeah. Yeah.
more release.
Mm-hmm. Just from the looking and looking with the light.
Okay.
And just
Thank
joining with the
you.
partner. Yeah.
Thank you. She
Thank you
was
so
calling me now.
What's that?
She was calling me now. Now I will call her back.
Bye-bye. We
Thank
love
you,
you.
sweetie.
Bye bye. Thank you, Renee. Thank you,
Mary.
Mary. Thank you so much.
You're
Love
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
For all of us.
Yeah.
For all of us. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
I feel
everyone.
emotion.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
We'll have another chapter 20 joining
In 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks. And then Lena will have one for the Spanish.
Next Saturday.
Okay. But I don't mind in English as well because
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
both. I don't know you understand me when I talk.
Yes.
You do. You're very
Perfectly.
understandable. Thank you. For all of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye
Susanna.
bye.
Bye.